Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Unity of Garden Park, New Thought Philadelphia, the Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network. And now, let's experience the Om Center for Spiritual Living.
All right. Good morning once again, dear ones. Great to see you all. If you're in this very room or are watching online or are watching later, wherever you are, welcome, and we're really glad that you're here. So our theme, Centers for Spiritual Living, creates a theme for and invites all of the centers in the organization to follow if they so choose. Our theme for 2026 is Open at the Top. For March, it is What If? What If? And for the month of March and this Sunday, my topic is A World of Pure Imagination. So I'm glad you're with me this morning. Everything, as we know, everything started as an idea, conscious or unconscious. The car that brought you to Om this morning, or if you're watching online, the wires and switches that allow you to be watching online started as an idea. The chair on which you're sitting, Om, this organization, where we are in our relationships with our dear ones, with our finances, with our physical bodies, all of these experiences started as an idea. And I was visiting with my sister yesterday and talking about, because she's 7 years younger than I am and just turned a certain age. And so we're talking about working with, that's all you get on that. We're talking about talking with younger people, and really younger people, and the things that we used to do, be, and have that they don't understand. And she was talking with one of her younger coworkers about banker's hours, and he's like, "What?" And then we talked about a passbook savings account. Remember, back in the day, you had that little book, and you went to the teller, and the teller would put the date stamp and the amount of the deposit that you made. And carbon paper, and floppy disk drives, and all of those things that how far we've come, and all of these extraordinary inventions and enhancements to our lives started in somebody's imagination, and because somebody thought, well, what if? So that's what we're talking about today. We have ideas. Gee, that's a great idea. Let's do that. But we also have ideas based on our beliefs about all of those areas of our lives, how it could be, how it might be, how it couldn't possibly be. And that works for us in the things that work for us, but also the ideas about money, about relationships, about those people, and however you categorize those people, those ideas in our imagination that were planted there, sometimes unconsciously, sometimes by parents or grandparents or people who loved us, because it was their idea and their imagination, and we just accepted it as our own. You might have heard this before, and I will bet you have heard this before. There is a power in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. And I would suggest that we do use it. Every moment of every day, consciously or unconsciously, our imagination is doing what it's doing. And, well, what about this? And what about this? And very often it's wonderful and exactly what we wanted. And sometimes it's so not what we wanted, but that idea pops into our minds. You've heard me say before, and you probably will again, when I first found this teaching, I was so excited because I get to create my experience. Well, at that time, my experience was not all that it could have been. So my excitement about this followed immediately by, oh, you mean I created this? But the good news is, if I made the mess, I can clean it up and make something new. That's the good news. Because it's done unto us as we believe and what we focus on as we know. So if I start my day in not enoughness, and I've used that word enough to know that now it's a word. Whether you find it in the dictionary or not, it is a word. Not enoughness. So we start with, I didn't get enough sleep. I didn't have enough coffee. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough wisdom. And you see, there's not enough parking, and so on and so on and so on. And that becomes our experience, not because we're being punished for it, but that's what life does, because life with a capital L has no choice. Because we've planted that seed, and life absolutely must respond as we believe. But of course, the good news is, at any point, if we planted that carrot seed, but we really wanted bell peppers, all we need to do is pull out the carrot seed and plant the bell peppers. So we're not stuck in any of these things. We can make the change. So sometimes in my not enoughness, I'm also doing what I like to call drama mind. So something happens, and my imagination creates the story about how it happened and then builds on it from there. So I'm creating this experience and this story and this Academy Award-winning movie, and I've got the actors, and it's done, it's in the can, it's good to go. But the wonderful thing about this teaching is, and I bet this has been your experience as it has been mine, at any point, and as we get further into this teaching, it's sooner rather than later, the still small voice finally gets a word in edgewise and says, no, that's not true. I don't have to do that. And we bring ourselves back to the truth of our being and change our story. So we start to create whatever it is, and then we say, and you've heard me use this incredibly intelligent affirmation, but it works for me and it might work for you. Tain't so. Tain't so. Bad English, but it's okay. Tain't so. And that brings me, no, I'm not doing that. Tain't so. Just brings me right back to the present and allows my imagination to create something that I really consciously want rather than something that I don't. Because we sometimes, so we hear there's a noise. There's a noise that the car is making. There's a noise that the washing machine is making. And it shouldn't be making that. So we start to create, oh my God. So the transmission's going to drop out on the driveway. Or the washing machine's going to die, and I have 3 weeks worth of laundry to do. You probably don't pile yours up that much, but some of us do. Maybe not 3 weeks, but 2.5. Oh my God. And we slip back into, remember this, and this is from a long time ago. So some of you might remember Murphy's Law. Nothing is as easy as it looks. Everything takes longer than you expect. And if anything can go wrong, it will at the worst possible moment. Yikes. But if we were taught that and didn't take the opportunity to look at it, our imagination brings us, and life brings us, more of these wonderful experiences. Again, not because we're being punished for it, but that's what we believe. But at any point, that's not my experience anymore. Our buddy Job from the Old Testament said, "For the thing I have feared has overtaken me, and what I dreaded has befallen me." You know, fear is, to me, is just about the most powerful emotion, more so than love, more so than any of the others, because fear of whatever it is. And so we start to, the word that's coming to me is ruminate. That's pretty good for 10:30 on a Sunday morning, right? Ruminate? Well, where did I pull that? Anyway, so we start to worry and start to think, and well, but if that happens, then how am I going to pay for that new washing machine? Or what am I going to do about this transmission? Or how am I going to get to work tomorrow? Or how am I going to get to church today? Or any of those other things. And the thing that I have feared the most has come upon me. Again, not because I'm being punished, but that's what my imagination created. So at any point, I can say, "Tain't so." Just pull myself back. Tain't so. Because if there is a power greater than we are and we can use it, let's use it for something cool. Let's use it for something amazing. Let's use it for something jaw-droppingly wow, rather than or I didn't want that. If you were with me a couple of weeks ago, I talked about my experience in college a long time ago and the discussion about whether or not the universe is a friendly place or a hostile place. You know, Albert Einstein asked that question. And so for whatever reason, many years ago, I'm at California Lutheran College and we're having these deep theological discussions in the middle of the night rather than studying or sleeping, but that's okay, about is the universe a friendly place or a hostile place? Are there really two or more powers? Is there something waiting to jump on us at the first opportunity, or is it a loving, nurturing, friendly place that always says yes to us as we believe? And even if you've been in this teaching a long time, many of us come with that residue about what we used to believe and what we used to be taught about how life really is. And so the opportunity for us, of course, no matter what the experience, is to look at what we really believe about this and change our thinking. And another line that you might have heard before, change your thinking, change your life. That's what we do. So we're talking about imagination today, and I remember growing up to be a responsible adult. You don't spend time thinking about what could be. You don't spend time in imagination and dreams and wouldn't it be great if and how cool would it be if. Instead we're responsible and practical and mature. And we don't daydream. We deal the hand we're dealt. We stay in our lane and do the best we can with what we have. And I would suggest for us that at any point, no matter what the situation is in our lives, there's the opportunity to say, yeah, this is kind of cool, but what I really want is, and allow our imagination, allow the universe to do whatever it is that we're directing it to do. Because as we know, it always says yes, so why not accept what it is that we really want. Is it possible? I would suggest that if we have the thought, if we have the idea, if we have the passion, then it's possible. Remember Alice in Wonderland and Alice talking with the Queen one day, and Alice laughed and said, "There's no use trying." She said, "One can't believe impossible things." "I dare say you haven't had much practice," said the Queen. "When I was your age, I always did it for half an hour a day. Why, sometimes I believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast." I love the concept of that, because impossible, we'll just put a hyphen there. I am possible. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. And our passion and our joy and our love gives it the energy, and the universe has to say yes, because that's what the universe does. So yes, it's possible, whatever it is. Going there, doing that, having that, not having that anymore, which I don't know about you, but for me can be a biggie. You know, we accept what we do want and then lovingly release whatever it is that we don't want. And equally as powerful in my experience has been, and I bet yours as well, equally as powerful in releasing that no longer serves us. Napoleon Hill said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." So in this teaching, we talk a lot about doing and being and having, and there's something more and something better and something greater, and that's great. But if you're fine, really honestly in your heart of hearts, my life is perfect and exactly the way I want it to be, that's okay. It really is okay. But then, well, you know, I could, and then our imagination, the still small voices, well, yeah, everything is wonderful and your life is amazing, but wouldn't it be cool if, and then you get to choose that and work that in your imagination and allow Spirit to do what Spirit does. So my topic for this morning is a world of pure imagination, and as soon as I saw that, I immediately thought of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This is one of the songs, and this was such a great movie, and I think it was done 2 or 3 times, and like half a dozen people recorded this song that we're going to hear in a minute. But just in case you don't remember, this book, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, was written by Roald Dahl in 1964. So it's been around for a while. So Willie is the mysterious owner of a magical candy factory and hosts a contest for 5 children to tour his facility, and ultimately the winner will become his heir. So they put out these golden tickets in the chocolate bars all over everywhere. And your chance of getting a golden ticket in your candy bar was 1 in 270 million. Amazing. But they found 5 young people who got an all expenses paid, I think, probably so, trip to the factory to go through it, and for Willie to get to meet them and choose an heir. So in the song that we'll see, in the video that we'll see in just a minute, and there, as I mentioned, there are several different versions of this, but this is the one that Gene Wilder sings, which I think is so incredibly cool. But they take the tour. Actually, let's watch it and then I'll talk more about it. So Martin, whenever you're ready.
Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world. There's nothing to it.
Hurry up, Violet!
This way, Grandpa.
There's no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Whoa! Amazing. So that's such a great song and such a great video. Martin, thank you so much for that. So they've won. 5 people out of however many 100 million won and got to come and do this. And so if you've not watched the movie, it's very cute because there's lots of subplots and lots of sub-personalities from these 5 kids, and then winds up choosing Charlie to take over the factory and the business and the millions and all of the chocolate. What's not to like? So pretty cool. But about creativity, dreaming, and looking at the world with wonder and possibility, suggesting that imagination is the ultimate form of freedom. Because when we look at a situation and we recognize I'm not stuck in this, there must be some other way, and then allow Spirit to do what Spirit does and show us and tell us what we need to do to allow that, not to make that, not to force that, but to allow that to happen. And listen and then act on whatever ideas we get. Now, when we do this, admittedly, and God knows I've experienced this, there's ego. Wayne Dyer said ego stands for edging God out, and my ego is the yes, but. That's really nice. What a nice idea. Yes, but you're too old, too young, too thin, too fat, too whatever, not enough, whatever it is. And we go back to that wisdom of tain't so. Tain't so. Because when I choose, the universe must do what I have called it to do. There's a great quote about imagination. This is from, let's go next. This is from a blog. Do we still call it a blog? Okay, thank you. And the title is Imagination is Not Daydreaming by Phoebe Tickle. And she writes, imagination is a superpower. Every single change in society started in somebody's imagination or in small groups' collective imagination. And let's think about this, from women getting the vote to the civil rights movement or better services for health care. Some say it's the quality that makes us most uniquely human, especially our ability to collectively imagine the new. But imagination is not recognized for what it is, the star stuff of truly radical innovation that builds a new world into being. It's often dismissed as something associated with daydreaming, fantasy, and fiction. So we see what we see in our personal lives, in the world, in what's going on, and we say, yes, but it doesn't have to be that way. Yes, but that's not the truth of my experience, and what can I do this afternoon to begin to make a difference in that situation, whatever it is? We're coming close to baking bread in here. Could we put some air on? I know, right? Robert F. Kennedy, Sr., said, some men see things as they are and say, why? I dream things that never were and say, why not? Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. How do we do that? This afternoon, we plan our day using our imagination, using the recognition of the truth of our being, and we offer kindness. It's the, go ahead. It's the person that was going to miss the off-ramp to get on the 15 North, and you're in the far right lane, and by God, I was here first, and you're just going to have to wait, versus taking your foot off the accelerator and allowing them to go ahead of you. It's the person in the grocery store that you've got your week's groceries, or even you've got 10 items and they've got one and they're behind you. It's allowing them to do that. It's holding the door for someone. It's that kindness. We're so busy and we're so angry and we're so focused on stuff But what a wonderful opportunity. What a wonderful opportunity to come from that place of love and kindness and compassion. How do we change the world? There's nothing to it. At the end of the service, we're going to sing, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me." The gift for us is to let it begin with me, and to allow ourselves to look at our lives and see whatever's happened up until now happened up until now. This is a new day. This is a new moment with new possibilities, and the still small voice, my still small voice, is saying, "I'm here. I'm here. What do you want to do?" Don't you? If we anthropomorphized, who comes up with these words? Thank you on a Sunday morning, right? If we gave God, Spirit, the universe, the infinite, the divine, human qualities, there's Spirit saying, "Okay, what's next? What do you want to do, be or have? What's next for us?" And allow our heart of hearts to feel what it is that's next for us. Because we can just go along, and that's okay. Or we can create this most amazing next thing. And the great thing is that if we create the next thing and we say, yeah, I thought I wanted caramel, but I really wanted chocolate, just go create the chocolate. There's nothing. Or enjoy the caramel, right? Yes, because you can have chocolate tomorrow. Yes, absolutely. So there's an affirmation on your chair this morning that I absolutely love and adore, and I'd like for us to say it together, and I invite you to take that with you if you would like, because I love the concept of this. So join me if you would in this, and then I will pray us out. I face the future with happy expectancy, with wonder. I wonder what new experiences of the good, the joyous, the enriching lie in wait for me. I wonder what new persons will be drawn into my life, what new stores of health and vitality will be opened, what new depths of understanding will be uncovered within me. The future lies before me, stretched in smiling repose. It is an unmarked, unmarred page. My thought is my pen, and life is what I write. No one else can write upon that page. I therefore choose to know this day that the experiences that lie before me will be the best I have ever known. And it is so. So with that in mind, join me in the light for just a minute. And we come together in gratitude today for this beloved spiritual community, for the opportunity to be together, to be reminded of the truth of our being. That this day is anchored in pure imagination. And we get to decide. We get to write upon that page. We get to choose what our experience will be. And so rather than running on autopilot, rather than allowing what's out there to affect us and influence us and bring us down, we recognize the truth of our being, that we are the essence, expression, and experience of Spirit. And so we get to say, yes, thank you, and more, please, to the perfect health, to the lavish abundance, to the wonderful relationships, to green lights and clear sailing. We say yes, thank you, and more, please. For this day, for this glorious day, for our time together, we give great thanks. And together we say, and so it is. Thanks, y'all.